Welcome back to another episode of the FTL Podcast for the year of 2026. It's January 3rd right now, and we are here. Who's here with me? We have the one, the only slayer of your pentatonic perils, the wise wizard of Whataburger, the malevolent mage of marbles, the one and only Ubie. How's it going, Ubie?
I like that. The Wise Wizard of Whataburger is one that I might actually put on a placard. That's one I can get behind for sure. I'm all right. We're awake and upright, so that's two positive things.
I mean, look, I said malevolent mage of marbles because I kind of feel like that some way. All those Steves that you put in or you pick, those levels and just tossing everybody off the course.
I had a very weird coworker in a call center. Okay, so I didn't really narrow it down very much there by saying what I said, but I had a very weird coworker in the call center who had a picture, a framed picture of a weasel sitting on his desk, and he had created an entire cult around the weasels, and for some way. I became the head weasel in charge of malevolence, and so
I mean, if the
that
shoe
works.
fits, I mean, I guess it works. The Whataburger marbles. Oh, look, that marble thing is a hit. But before we move on, I want to introduce our guest of the bye week. I guess we have one Mr. C.D. Nelson. Chris, how's it going, buddy?
Hey there, we're good. Just cleaning up Christmas, getting ready for the new year.
I know, like Christmas, it just went down really quick over here. I mean, my wife took the stuff down earlier this week. It was like right after the New Year's, like January 2nd or something like that. And the thing is my dad, he lives with us now, and he's like, you can't take that down until the 6th because that's Three Kings Day, and blah blah blah. Yeah, he was kind of joking with her and all that, and like we didn't know any better. She took all the decorations down. Now it looks like a barren wasteland in my living room because she goes freaking nuts when it comes to decorations and stuff like that. It's that's her hobby. We play guitar, I play guitar, she decorates, and it's luckily she does most of her shopping through Amazon with that stuff because I wouldn't not be able to tolerate going to Hobby Lobby more than I already do. Yeah. I'm serious. I'm gonna grab a prop here.
Oh boy, props!
When I go to Hobby Lobby, I'm such a kid. I'm like, all right, that's the only place I can find silly putty. So I always pick up some silly.
Oh, see, when
some...
we go to Hobby Lobby, what comes back is set decoration for me. So I don't mind going to Hobby Lobby because
Oh yeah, they got some cool
that
stuff.
stuff ends up coming back.
I go straight to the back of the store. They have the silly putty, they have the yo-yos, they have the model kits and all that. I don't do models, but they're cool to look at.
The model section is cool.
Yeah, and all the paint stuff and all that stuff. I don't know. This is one of those things. I was talking to Steve Gunner not that long ago. I lost my wife like right before Christmas. I lost her in Target. That's a very dangerous thing. I'm serious.
Oh,
I couldn't find her. I walked around.
Your wallet was starting to scream at you.
And then I was kind of, I don't know why we were talking, but I was talking to Steve on Discord through my phone. I think that's how I lost it. And I was like, dude, I gotta go. My wife's lost. I'm in Target. And he was like, you know what? Just put a hold on your. He was like, put a hold on your credit cards. And then I was like, you know what, dude? I have no room to tell my wife what she can and cannot buy. She could buy whatever she wants because I just bought myself a D28 and a Princeton Reverb.
Yeah, you just bought a D28, so yeah.
I'm like, do you do what you want? Look, the D28, I had to get it because it's a dream guitar. I don't really have that much money. I sold a house, and for some reason, the housing market turned out to be really in our favor. So there's a little extra stuff. I just invested a bunch of stuff in the one we're currently at because we needed a fence, did all that stuff. And I was like, you know what? There's a little extra. I'm going to treat myself. Treat yourself, right? Look, sometimes you just got to do that. You have to strike the iron while the fire is hot, so they say, because you never know when you're going to have another opportunity to do something like that. But talking about money, we're gonna be eating. We're gonna go thrifting today, and we're gonna be eating somewhere. She said somewhere cheap, and that brings us to the first topic. Where are we gonna be eating
Not
that's
what I
cheap?
thought you were going to say there. That is not what I thought you were going to say
Oh,
there.
okay.
I
Let's
could
keep
have
it.
sworn that you were going to say that you were going to eat. You were going to be eating ramen or rice. Is
No,
where I
well,
thought you were going to go with. We're going to be eating. So
well, I mean, that doesn't sound bad. We have a lot of rice, and I haven't had ramen in a while. Those cup of noodles I used to eat all the time. I don't know how long those things stay in your stomach after you eat them. Actually, probably forever. Um,
a
but
couple
yeah,
decades at least.
oh, gosh, it's just like if you that whole myth where your mom tells you if you swallow the gum, it's going to be in your stomach for 8 years. It's like, oh, I'm never going to swallow gum again. But it's just a lie. But no, we have a serious topic here, guitar related. And I'm just joking. Look, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Culver's is better than Whataburger. The burgers are better.
He's coming out swinging. So apparently Keith woke up this morning and chose violence.
Yes, yes. Look, I put it in the description of the podcast because I was kind of struggling to come up with topics, and I swear we are going to be talking about some guitars here just in very shortly. But I did want to say, because we have Chris on, and I believe Culver's is that from Wisconsin?
Yeah, they were originally from Wisconsin, and they've spread a little bit, not so much to the West Coast, but so my son misses that when he's out there. When he was here, that's one of the first things we did was go get Culver's. The second was go to Quick Trip.
Yeah, Quick Trip, Culver's, and down south it's all about what is that Beaver gas station? I forget.
Buc-ee's, yes.
Buc-ee's, yeah. It's all about Buc-ee's and Whataburger down south. Look, I'm right in the middle. I'm in Kansas City, and we have had Culver's for quite a while here, and I'm glad. And then we've recently had, thanks to Patrick Mahomes, some Whataburgers. I like Whataburger.
We have Culver's down. I say we have, like I'm still in Texas. We had Culver's down in the Dallas area, so it's not that I'm unfamiliar with it.
If I'm going down there, I'm gonna go get me some Brahms or something like that.
Brahms is another thing I seriously miss. Now, I like Whataburger more than Brahms, but I will eat Brahms more often than Whataburger because it's a little bit more like Whataburger is like a mid-range fast food place, whereas Brahms is closer to the lower end fast food place.
I mean, they have like a grocery store in their restaurants, don't they? That's pretty cool. Look, now,
Yeah, and it's all farm fresh stuff too. That's some really good stuff you can get out of there. Now you pay for it, obviously, but it's good stuff.
I wish they'd open one of those up around here because we were driving to Texas and that was where we stopped in Oklahoma. They have them down there. But the topic at hand. Look, man, the greasy burgers that you get from Culver's, they're the best. I mean, Whataburger does have the portion size, but man, and they have the fries, but the burgers are the best. That Swiss mushroom burger, anything, the cheese curds.
Now,
oh my gosh,
I'm gonna say, for a while there, Whataburger actually did a mushroom Swiss burger that was amazing because they put the au jus sauce on it, and it was just ridiculously good. Now, Brandy died a little bit inside when they took that off the menu because that was Brandy's absolute favorite.
Oh man, I don't know. I go down there and Whataburger always has these weird milkshakes, like the Dr. Pepper milkshake and all that. And
problem with their weird milkshakes is they don't put enough flavoring in them. Like the Dr. Pepper milkshake, like if you go to have it, you're like, okay, this is like the La Croix of milkshakes. It has a hint of Dr. Pepper is what it has in it.
Yeah, go big or go home on that. But I said it before, but I'll say it again. My sample size of Whataburger is extremely limited, just from the 3 or 4 times we were in Texas this last year. That's more traveling in 1 year than I've done in the past 10. And the couple times we had it, to be fair, the first time I had it, it was something with my medications, and then I overate because Whataburger's things were so big, so I did not feel good. Not feeling good after eating a place will definitely color your perception of said restaurant. So we did try it again last time.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have the Guitar YouTube Jamboree. We're gonna hold it down in Kansas City, and we're gonna bring everybody down. And I will take everybody out to Whataburger, and we'll put this myth to bed.
Yeah, we'll take them all out just to Whataburger is what he's implying there. Well, let's skip over. No. Look, what you were saying there, Chris, I completely agree with you. I freaking love fried chicken. I fry it myself. All that stuff. I mean, I have my own opinions there, but Popeyes is one of my favorite, and I would eat there quite often. Then I got sick off of it. I've gotten sick from it once, and that was all it took. I was just like, nah, I'm not eating there again. I haven't done it. And this was recently. This was a couple years ago. I thought I was going to die almost. I was like, what the hell's going on with me?
I don't wish any kind of food poisoning on anybody.
Oh God, that's horrible.
I've got a similar story, and it's actually a little bigger. When I was, I don't know, 5, 6, maybe 7 or so, my sister had Jack in the Box, and she had the one of their salads, and I didn't have anything to eat, so she gave it to me, and I got so sick from, like, I think the ham on it was bad or something like that.
Ooh.
And forever I couldn't even walk by a Jack in the Box. I ended up becoming a shift manager at a Jack in the Box later on in life. So it turned around eventually, but man, for decades I couldn't even physically go near the place.
I don't know. Jack in the Box weirds me out. They got tacos and burgers, and it's just like, what the hell you guys got going on here? I mean,
the thing with the Jack in the Box tacos is they have narcotics in them, and they actually will make you addicted to them.
Yeah, we had that when we were down in Texas too, and that was on the tier list for me. That was slightly above Whataburger, but probably just because it was cheaper and I didn't have my my ingrained opinions on that. Side note: similar experience with peach schnapps. We won't go there.
Oh, gross.
Can't even smell this stuff anymore.
I'm going to talk about guitars here, but I just wanted to acknowledge Snug real quick. He said Jack Stack burn-ins. I don't know if you're from Kansas City or not. Jack Stack is one of the barbecue capitals of the United States. I'm not a huge fan of Jack Stack. The burn-ins are okay. If you're going to come to Kansas City, the best barbecue, in my opinion, would be LC's barbecue, or they used to call it Oklahoma Joe's. It's called Joe's KC Barbecue now. They're the best. Those burn-ins are the best. Jack Stack is like gourmet barbecue. You're going to go in there and buy a sandwich for $20, and it's going to be the size of an appetizer. You know, it's just not worth it to me, and it doesn't taste as good. But they do make a really good burn-in soup. And if you have money and you want to splurge a little bit, yeah, you can go to Jack Stack. That's my opinion. I got opinions on barbecue.
I can tell you the best barbecue if I want to do it. What I'll do is I'll get on 35 and I'll head in your direction, Keith. And when I get to KC, I'm just going to keep on going right through KC, stay on 35 until I get down to Dallas, where Texas barbecue, the superior barbecue is. So
yeah, I mean, look, I have nothing against Texas barbecue. Look, I love barbecue in general. Just give me North Carolina, Texas barbecue, Kansas City.
I'm with you. You can't go wrong with any barbecue, really.
Their specialties there, but
it's hard to screw it up.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to screw it up. I've seen, there's plenty here that have screwed it up, but there's more barbecue
meat
places
plus fire, people. It's not that difficult.
Oh, it's smoke, and then the woods. You're talking about tone woods. What kind of tone wood makes the best burn end? Is it Sitka spruce, or is it Brazilian rosewood? You know, the East Indian rosewood it's not as sweet.
Oh my God!
As the Brosewood rosewood. So. Oh,
we just literally like made some guitar snobs' heads explode just by saying that.
Tonewood barbecue. You know that Tonewood barbecue. That's a good.
You know what? If we all got together and opened a barbecue place, I love the idea.
There we go. There for the 16 folks that are listening. Let's get that
barbecue and live music.
They have one here. It's called BB's Longside Barbecue. That's an awesome good barbecue place, but I think so myself. I say so myself. They have the thing called the Big Walter. Look, it's all blues and stuff. If you're in Kansas City, I would recommend that. They have live music there quite often. Big Walter is just a bunch of meats, leftover barbecue meats. They have burn-in, sausage, brisket, pork, and they chop it all up. Slather it. It's like a sloppy Joe almost of just barbecue goodness. It's just, oh my God, and the fried wedge potatoes. Okay, a lot of food. It's noon here in Kansas City, but I do want to talk about guitars here. So I have in my hands a lap steel. I haven't played this thing in forever, but Chris, I know that you recently did some work on a lap steel. I watched Not all of them. I'm gonna confess there, but I've watched a few of the videos that you did and cutting the nut there. But I want to hear a little bit more about your journey with that thing on the show. I know it's all documented on your channel, but just brief story behind it and what kind of work and what you learned from it.
So, well, I learned a whole ton basically about not going in unprepared for the work. Thought I was prepared, and it was just a treat. Yeah, the nut was the big ticket, but wish I had a picture to show of the old tuners. I'd kept them, but they were so gnarled up and bent, and some of them didn't even turn right, so it was missing half the strings. But this was my wife's grandfather's, and they had a property up north from us about 2.5 hours, and that was kind of like our home away from home for the longest time. We would go up every weekend, every other weekend, just to spend time with them. Loved her grandparents, missed them incredibly. But they had, I forget exactly where this was. I want to say it was in the summer kitchen, which is basically an outbuilding with a stove and a sink where they could do barbecues, whatever. We did pig roasts and everything up there. And in the loft, I had to get something down from the loft. This was sitting up there in relatively rough shape. It was her grandfather served in the Navy, had, I think, 2-3 ships sunk out from under him, amongst other things. And when he came back, was a jack of all trades, did stuff like he was a steeplejack. He was one of those crazy folks hanging off the side of a church with a 90-degree slope, putting shingles up, because that's what they did after the war. And he just liked music and wanted to learn to play something, so he bought this. And I have yet to learn how to play anything on it. I've got it to stay in tune now, but
What tuning are you in?
sort of C6 swing, I think.
Oh
That's what they
boy.
called it. I'd have to look at the package, but I heard that was a fairly decent standard for trying to learn how to do so. Learning Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is still on the menu for me, so I can record that for Mom.
What I would recommend doing, I used to, when I was in college, I was playing a lot of guitar. I've only been playing when I was a freshman in high school or something like that, 8th or 9th grade. And I made a choice when I was, I think, a junior in college. I was like, I need to just nail down something. What style of guitarist am I going to be? And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a blues guitarist because, Stevie Ray Vaughan was here. I was listening to a lot of Robert Johnson stuff and Skip James and all these old guitar guys. And a lot of the Robert Johnson stuff, I learned a lot of his stuff. I forgot it all now. And a lot of that slide stuff and just these mysterious slide things. But that lap steel that I got there, I was able to pick it up and play it a little bit. I forget, open G tuning is one of the ones I used to play a lot of. But if you just learn it on your regular guitar, it just translates there. I think it's harder to play one of those than just doing slide on a regular guitar. Personally, from my experience, I haven't used that thing in a while, but
I'd have to try slide on a regular to compare. But yeah, this is not been the easiest thing to try and pick up, just because you think with the tunings, I can just move wherever I want, but it's not. It's a lot of cat noises coming out of it.
I mean, you have to
Injured cat.
Yeah, you have to really rely on the intonation and the markings on the bottom, because look, for those unfamiliar with it, like, there's no frets on these things, and they have the markers where the frets would be, so the intonation has to be, perfectly spot on there. And
you have to be over the line itself.
Over the line itself. I mean, Ubie, you yourself, Chris said it in one of his videos, you did slide guitar on your guitar with a battery, right? So you know exactly what you're doing, over the line. And I say maybe I'm going to do a video on it. I'm not that great at it. I haven't picked up I don't like using slides on my guitars now. I used to use them all the time. Now I'm scared I'm just going to mess up my guitar when I do it, because I'm so crazy with it. Because I have one of those metal slides. I don't use a glass one. It's like a brass one. And for my lap steel, I have one of those that you hold between your fingers. I think you have one of those too.
Yeah, that's
But open tuning, just do a 12 bar and find the spots. If this in a key of E, and then I think A and B will be your 4 and 5, and just back and forth on those over the frets where those notes will be. And if it's an open tuning, that'll get you started. A cool like slide. Did you have something to say, Chris?
I did see a couple of demos explaining, especially this is an 8-string too, so it's adding
Oh
more
wow, that's
weirdness
complicated.
to talking about just the tunings with that particular tuning, how the high strings end up being a minor chord, and if you switch that up, I've got the picks for it because I've got the banjo picks too, which are kind of the same thing. The thumb and finger picks. If you just pick different strings, knowing which ones, almost probably more like a harp, in my opinion, knowing which strings make a major chord and a minor chord, and knowing how to mute so
Oh
the other stuff doesn't sound all
wow.
at once. But yeah, I'm just hoping to get something out of it.
Okay.
It'd be great if I could eventually work that into even using in backing on any songs if I come up
I
with
am
something.
I am thinking in elementary terms, and you are thinking in PhD terms, because you're talking about all. First of all, you have 8 strings. I only have 6 here. I'm talking about a basic 1 4 5, and you're like, well, these strings, depending on what you mute, and I'm like, okay, I can't do that. So, good luck, Chris.
We'll see.
It's
Yeah,
just
I just
it's basically just finger picking when you think about it.
yeah yeah. It's
I
just
have
getting used to the extra strings, like getting. I can play a regular bass if you were to throw a 5-string bass at me. I mentally would know that that bottom string is no longer an E, but my hands would be trying to play
yeah.
it.
Hmm.
I feel you there. Look, I mean, it, one of the things that got me into slide, I mean, obviously the blues guys and all that stuff. I know Dwayne Allman was a big slide guy, but I never really listened to, what's more than his popular music that he had out there in the hits. But, dude, Red Hot Chili Peppers Scar Tissue, that solo is freaking badass by John Frusciante, and it's in, standard tuning. And I think it's a really easy solo to kind of learn. I mean, it's easy to know and play, but it's hard to master, as with everything,
Yep.
because one of those things. But the concept is all on one string or 2 strings at the most. I think just starting there will be a good introduction to anybody wanting to pick up a slide and do anything like that. And I mean, Ubie, like you put together a song. Was this on a Timmy song? The when you use the
Yeah, so it
slide,
was on the one we did for Tim A. And I just literally picked a battery up and was just playing
right?
off the top 2 strings, like it was a slide. So
Exactly. I remember reading, or not even reading. I was watching, yeah, it was a book. I was reading a Jimi Hendrix biography, and you could see him with a aluminum can from like a can of beans or tomato sauce or something like that. Just over there playing the slide that way. And I remember in high school, I was just messing around. It's like, oh, Jimmy's doing that. I'm gonna take anything. So I took a remote control for like my TV, and it works. You could just use anything like that.
anything with good solid edge will work. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean it may the question is how well can you control it? With the way it's shaped. But as long as
yeah.
it's got an edge and you lay it on your string without causing buzz off the fret, and you put it right over a fret, you're going to get the note. So
Anything like we're gonna get into a tangent here, but I gotta like the studio tricks that people use, like with that thing of Jimi Hendrix using the can. Now that's got me thinking, and all along the Watchtower where he has that slide part of it, that's one of the most famous guitar solos. He has the slide. I'm like, did he use the can on that, or was that somebody else? I forget. But the crazy stuff. This book here called Here, There, and Everywhere. It's by Jeff Emmerich. He was the engineer. It's about the Beatles. He's the engineer of the Beatles from Rubber Soul on. So all the good stuff. I mean, not that the old stuff was bad, but the innovative stuff and the studio tricks, where they would have like John Lennon saying, and this is me doing my John Lennon voice. Hey Jeff, I want to sound like I'm singing from a cave. And then he's like, how are we gonna do this? So they took, and they were explaining, they put like a microphone in a box and then had it going out of a Leslie speaker and doing all this Leslie or whatever those speakers are, that the amps that go around and they make that swirling sound. I forget the name of those.
Oh, right.
Is that a Leslie? Or is Leslie just the name of a piano? Doesn't matter. But those things, like just the crazy shit that they do to record music, you never would have known. Like, have you not told anybody that you used the battery to record it? No, people would have just thought you were, just using a normal slide or something like that. It doesn't. In the end, it doesn't matter how you get your sound as long as you get what you want, right?
Exactly, 100%.
But so Chris, like that nut, did you? I'm sorry if I missed it. I was looking at the chat, but I think you were having issues with the nut on that thing, right?
Well,
he fought that.
I trying to find one, number one, that was wide enough out of the box to fit 8 strings was near impossible. I tried searching for just Supro replacement nuts, and it just all over the place. The first one I bought, I thought I had the right thing, and it ended up being about 4 millimeters too short, so it just wouldn't have worked.
Ooh.
I ended up sourcing out a bone blank, which was actually bigger than it needed to be and way thicker. So I ended up my brother helped me out. He's got an awesome tool bench, which I don't have the room for, at least not yet. That's a future thing. So he helped me sand it down to roughly the area where it should be, and the rest I did by hand for the sanding and shaping, getting it thin enough. I knew I needed nut files. That's where the problems began. I bought a set of the keychain pipe cleaner things, which at that point I got what I paid for. It was, I want to say, less than $7, and they worked okay, but it was a lot of hard work, and especially with it being a true bone nut, it was rather tough. It wasn't even slotted to begin with, so matching it up with the old nut to try and get whereabouts the slots are supposed to be, I think I did pretty good because the strings looked pretty equally spaced.
Yeah.
One of them got a little bit out of whack, but they're all even across the top too, which that was the other thing I was worried about, is having one string sitting higher than the other or too high.
Yeah.
Those high strings are just a whisper of a notch, not even cutting. And so yeah, the for the big string, well, first off, trying to do anything with it was taking forever. And if I ever say I have a brilliant idea, run. I thought, okay, well, what have I got here that I can use? So I took my drill and threw that, because it was rounded on the end. They all fell apart too. That was the other thing. The keychain thing fell apart as I was trying to work with it. So little metal pipe cleaner things everywhere. That's where the shop magnet came in handy to find them all. But I threw the big one in my drill and thought, well, I get it rotating and can go back and forth with the drill. That should make things faster. That snapped. It didn't hit me. I heard it go past my head. So yeah, I ended up using some files that I had in one of the cheap Amazon luthier kits, which probably were not meant for cutting nuts, to get started on it, and then used strings to kind of polish it out. But now, thanks to Sparky, I actually have a set of fret files, so that was pretty awesome of him.
Awesome.
After he saw that, he sent them to me. That just is so hand in hand with how awesome this community is.
That's really cool. Geez, like, I was talking to a guy that does Martin repairs and stuff about replacing nuts and stuff. Just talking to him, and he's some kind of genius when it comes to this stuff, because him and another guy that's passed away were the two best in Kansas City that repaired, like Martin authorized repairmen and stuff like that, and they did all the other guitars too. I think they refretted my my Strat. He was just like, if you need a new nut, I go hunting all the time, and I just pick up bones that I see in the middle of the woods, and they're free nuts, and he was like, I just cut you one from there, just talking like that. It's like, those are the guys you want to hit up. But that's an art, man. That is an art that I can't imagine, like, this is why I don't do any of this tech work. I can't. I'll mess everything up. I don't. I'm impressed is what I'm trying to say with you being able to cut a nut for that thing. Eight strings. And then I didn't even think about like what happens if you cut a slot too deep, because you can't. I mean, I guess you can add material back, but it's harder. I don't know.
If you've saved bone dust and stuff, like between John and Ted, that's something I've got to start doing. If I start doing more of this, whenever I scrape stuff, we're gonna keep that in a pill bottle for.
Right. I think Smoke Eater Guitars. I was watching one of
Yep.
his videos. He had mentioned that. He's like, this stuff is like gold. You got to keep this around. I didn't comment on it, but I remember seeing that. It's just you have to keep that sawdust with some CA glue, and that's going to be your best friend, I bet. And I don't know anything about that stuff. I'm surprised that I even got my pickups are still working in my Telecaster. One of these days it's going to stop. And I think you were talking about, like, I want to talk about the pickups in that thing, because you were in that video, and it's been a while since I've watched it. Maybe you had an update on it. You were going to rewire it with some of the fabric wiring, solder wire.
Yeah, I'm hoping to. It's just the one pickup. I'm gonna take this cover off here. Just the one pickup, and there, as far as I can see, it's just a metal bar there. There's no means to intonate anything, so I'm kind of thinking, it is what it is. It was made in late 50s, early 60s, so is what it is. But yeah, underneath the control cavity, I'm not entirely certain that, or uncertain that Becky's grandfather, or I don't know if he bought this new or bought it used and it wasn't working and he figured out how to do it. But somebody's definitely been in there, because there's some stuff that's not wire, or technically it is wire, but it's like a paper clip. I mean, it's long and straight. It's not flexible at all. So that's part of what the wires were. That was touching something, which is where I was getting a hum from. I kind of fixed that up, but the other wires in there are cloth covered wire. So I figure at some point, when I get brave enough, I'm going to get a little bit more soldering practice in. I'm going to take that open and replace the wires from the pickups and everything with new cloth wire to see if that helps with some of the noise, but also just to make it look correct.
Yeah, those cloth ones. When I got those Seymour Duncan La Breas, they're just so easy to use, and I don't know. It works. So you bring up a really good point here. When you dig into a guitar like that, and I guess you and Ted and Brent and Smokey Guitar, everybody that does all this stuff, BBM, you kind of see the work that other people have done on the guitar before you, and there's signs of what they did, and then you kind of piece together. I think I used to listen to this podcast. It was the biggest podcast in the world. It was called Serial. Remember that, with that whole thing? And then they had a spinoff called S-Town, which stood for Shit Town and all that. But it was about a guy that was a clock. He repaired clocks. There's not like intricate clocks with all these gears and all that stuff. And then, there's not that many people in the world that could do that to that level. It's really hard. My dad has a grandfather clock downstairs. If it breaks, then you're going to spend thousands of dollars. And this guy was from Mississippi, and just some redneck guy that is just a genius. And they were talking about clockmaking things, and you could see they were called witness marks. Witness, like, witness in trial in court. It's like, these are signs of this repairman did something here. You could tell by these witness marks. They added this gear, or they added that gear. And one of the stories was like, the guy looked at a clock and he was like, "Oh, this doesn't need to be." He took some pliers and just started yanking things out. This doesn't need to be there, blah blah blah, and just going crazy. And then in the end, it worked. And the guy was like, "What the hell did you just do?" But the same thing applies to guitars too. I mean, you see the work that other people did, and you question yourself: why did they do that? Did they do it for a reason? Is this? I'm just throwing this out there because I have no clue. Is this jumper there? Is the jumper thing in a guitar? I don't know. But it's cool to see that kind of stuff, especially with older guitars like what you have there. I think so.
Yeah, I think the one behind me there too, that was my wife's uncle on her side of the family, that Tiesco or Tiesco. There's 40 different ways to pronounce that. I never did take the back plate off of it. I'd be curious to see what's been done under there. I don't think anything has been done to that one because that is as it is pretty much. I did before I knew how to do anything. Did take that in to our local shop and had them do just a basic setup on it, but it really needs a lot more love. So that might be something down the road that I get in there to look at because that some of the really old stuff does kind of interest me too because you get to see just some of the infancy of how they were making these instruments work, and now you compare that to a brand new guitar. Some of the stuff that they're doing, I, I compare a simple guitar like that to that thing that Jack Black spec'd out, that triple caster. Good lord, the wiring in there
Jack
must
White.
be. Yeah, Jack White. Thank you.
We're talking
Wrong,
about
Jack.
we're
They
talking
both
about
sing.
Bowser from Super Mario, Jack Black.
Pick up
But, no, I
Destiny.
get it. Yeah, that triple caster, it's freaking nuts.
Yeah, that I would love to play one. I'm never ever going to buy one because I would be living outside. But yeah, it just comparing the infancy of a guitar, which basically started with a piece of wood with strings and some
hmm
makeshift pickup on it, compared to where we are now, is just amazing to me. And that's less than 100 years
Yeah,
of technology upgrades.
I was watching gosh, was another Keith. If we don't have enough Keiths, but 30 Watt World is that channel, I think. He does documentaries and things like that, and he did a history of Martin guitars, and they guitars. They invented the dreadnought or whatever. What everybody knows about a guitar, but they all started out as lutes.
Yeah.
The that stringed type, and that's what they were making, and all that. Before we move on too much, I want to acknowledge some people here in the chat. We have a YouTube channel, a guy named Dan. He runs a channel, Dan Guitar. He does awesome instructional videos, much like what I do here. He does kind of breakdowns of not only Guthrie Trap but a bunch of other people. He's from England, but he lives in South Africa. So hi, we got a person in South Africa watching the podcast. So that's really cool. That guy is awesome. I've emailed him before, so thank you for coming on and hopping on, Dan, if you're still out there. But I just want to talk about a few people that came in here. Just acknowledge them. We have Tim BBM. 2 Yards is in the house, and we have Timmy. Hey, Timmy, we were just talking about your song here. John Dotson, Steve Gunner, Ted.
Hey, John, hope you're doing well.
Oh yeah, John. Yeah, we all hope.
I mean, he's upright and typing, so that's way better than he was several days ago.
He says they
That's
fixed
the benchmark for the day. That's the good starting point.
Yeah, they fixed the issues from what I'm seeing here. So that's excellent news. We want to keep you around, everybody, for as long as possible. Snug was here. He was talking about some of the barbecue stuff. Love Ted. Brant. Hey, Brant made it. What's up, Brant? Johnny Bean, I think, stopped by. Jim. Oh, there goes Jim. Jim 3J and Jeremy are here as well. So I think we've definitely had Jim and Jeremy on the podcast before. And one of these days when we get big enough, we're going to, when we hit that like 10 to 15,000 subscriber mark, maybe Searching for Tone will think we're good enough to have him on. I mean, he's not on now, but just maybe. Let's just hope there. But
Probably busy practicing.
jeez, yeah. Oh, you know what? That's cool. He's got that 52-week course there that he's working on. So I really do hope that turns out well for him. It's fun.
He's
man.
already better than all three of us now. So I mean, he's going to just completely blow past us.
Yeah, I completely agree there. I mean, he's better at a lot of things like fighting fires and spending money, which I guess I'm good at that now too. But gosh, there was something I was about to say. Oh, okay. So talking about guitars and all that. So we talked about the lap steel here. Now I got a fun little thing before we get into kind of like a controversial thing. Favorite guitars. We've already talked about favorite guitars. Blah blah blah. We have our desert islands. Ubie called me out on it last time. Imagine this scenario. Take yourself back. Any point in time, any concert. Favorite artist. If you could snatch a guitar out of somebody's hands and keep it for yourself while they were on stage or in a recording studio, whose would it be and what would it be? You can go legendary. You could take Stevie Ray Vaughan's SRV Strat. You could take anything.
Number one was right up there.
Well, let's start with you, Chris. Go ahead.
Number one was one of the first things that did pop to mind because he was one of my guitar heroes. I would say EVH, but I don't think I would even be able to do anything justice with that type of guitar, that type of playing. Be a cool guitar to play. BB King's Lucille, one of his. That's a hollow body is also on my bucket list, or semi-hollow rather. And but that was around that same time that I was, like you said, in high school, I was really getting into the blues, Stevie Ray. BB King was also making kind of a comeback around that time by doing collaborations with folks as well. And so
Riding with the King.
Just seeing how he was, what he did with so few notes, and then the sound from that guitar, that's probably going to be the one at the top of my list.
Will Red says Slash's Les Paul. That's not a Les Paul, but yeah, we get it. Yeah, for the people in the comments, please throw them in there. I already see that Tim BBM says Slash's November Rain Les Paul. Brant, I want to hear what you have to say. Ted, John, anybody, put your answers here. And while that queues up, Ubie, what would you pick?
I mean, obviously everybody goes with the big ones we all have talked about. Give me the kind of a Frankenstein Charvel with a mirror finish that was played by Mick Mars on Girls, the live concert that they recorded for the video. That thing always just it looks so freaking awesome to me when I watch that video. So,
jeez, Ubie, did you just like grow up in the '80s or something? What the hell?
Yeah, it's almost like that was all I ever do, man. But yeah, as far as that is concerned, give me literally almost anything that was played by Satriani, Joe Satriani, off of especially stuff from like the Surfing with the Alien, the whole. I mean, Steve Vai's Surfing with the Alien as well. Either of those guys, give me any of their guitars, and I would just, I would not do it justice, mind you, but I would love to hold either one of those.
Doesn't matter.
I could get some of that juice out of it.
Snatch it out of their hands, and you could have it, and you could take it to bed with you, kick out the wife, and then you'll live a happier life, is what I'm trying to say. So, I'm just joking there. Love you, honey. She's sleeping. She's not watching.
My wife is currently watching this, and I would not kick her out of the bed for any particular reason ever.
Very well said. Very well said there, Ubie. Yeah, I'm usually the one that's getting kicked out, but
oh wow,
I'm just joking. I never get kicked out.
Ted didn't choose
my dog kicks me out. So I want to read before I get to mine. Will says Slash's Les Paul. I think I already talked about that. So did Tim. John Dotson says Willie and Trigger. Awesome. That's if Trigger. If Trigger doesn't disintegrate in your hands when you pick it up, then that'd be a good one because, geez, that thing.
That's like picking up Thor's hammer.
It is.
Doesn't fall apart. You're good.
That was part of the description, falling apart. Jim from 3J Music, Jerry Cantrell's G&L. Rest in peace, G&L. That's a good one. Brandy said that she's too good to go to concerts because all she does is play in concerts. So congrats, Brandy. That is crazy, Brandy. But that's good for you. You're a natural performer, and that's what we all strive to be. And she's a hell of a writer. I read the book. Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, talk about her book, please. So first, and I'll get to mine.
Yeah, I didn't read the second iteration of it yet, Brandy. So I'm working on it. But I read the first one that she sent me over. The it takes place in space. It was the how did you describe it? Comedy, dark, satirical one. So I read that one.
Satirical farce, actually, is what it is.
Satirical farce. I read that one. Look, she could paint a picture. My son does the same thing. I don't know how writers could write and be descriptive and set the scene and do things like that. That's something that I can't do. I tried. I leave it to the pros. But what were you about to say, Ubie?
If we're talking about one that we can go back at any time and grab, give me Roy Clark's Gibson Birdland.
Ooh.
Okay. Just snatching it out of his hands. You know what? What guitars you're not going to be able to snatch out of anybody's hands? Any of Ted Nugent's? Because he'll probably shoot you. I mean, let's be honest here.
He has a crossbow on him at all times.
Ted, like what you were alluding to, he didn't pick a tele. He said Clapton's Blackie. I'm glad that he mentioned that, because did you do the research on Eric Clapton's SG journey?
No, I didn't, and I actually meant to do that. Thank you for reminding me, but...
Look it up. I could have sworn, if you have time now while I go through the comments, because I'm interested too, I could have sworn when I saw him performing in Cream that he was playing an SG, and he didn't. It's my understanding he didn't switch to a Strat until maybe the 70s after Jimi Hendrix. That's just what I think. I think he was more of a Les Paul Gibson guy. I could be wrong, but I could have sworn. But yeah, Clapton's Blackie is a good one.
I'll tell you what.
Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't.
I tell you
The
what.
Fool guitar was an FG.
His what?
Yeah.
The Fool guitar, the psychedelic colored one. I can't believe I didn't know that was him.
That's from Cream, right?
I know that guitar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Becoming one of the most iconic guitars and defining this
tone. Ted can get Clapton's Blackie, and I'll get Gilmore's Blackie, and we'll have a little playoff, and then afterwards I will donate that to 2 Yards.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say that 2 Yards could get that, and then I can get the Boss's Tele. Actually, I would love the Boss's Tele. I don't like the Boss at all, but I'll take his Tele. So, Strings and Pucks. Jeremy, I love the Hollywood Starcaster from the band Fish. Okay. Does that come with some mushrooms? Probably enjoy it. Johnny 3 Bar, Doug Irwin Custom Early Alembic. I don't know what that is. Let's go down the road here. Hyper Black is my idol. Hold on. I love 2 Yards and his Hyper Black. Okay, so 2 Yards is referencing himself.
2 Yards would steal 2 Yards as guitar, is what he's saying.
Okay, I get it. You know, as 18-year-old, 6'7", no, you got 2 Yards, get out of here with that. 18-year-olds. No, he's 19 now, isn't he? It's the new year, so he must be 19. All right, so let me
just interject real quick for Jim 3J.
Yeah,
the Alembic guitars. Do yourself a favor and go to allenbeckguitars.com after this. Good choice, Jim. Wow, those are some really unique looking instruments.
What? I didn't see his comment. Okay, Alan Beck. I'll throw it up here on my screen. But me personally, take a guess. Doesn't matter. Would it be an electric or an acoustic? What do you think?
If it's probably an electric, and it's probably you'll probably grab one of Jimmy's guitar, I bet.
Okay. If I was going to snatch anybody's guitar, it would be the guitar that Neil Young was playing at Live at Massey Hall. Whatever acoustic it was there. Because in my opinion, best acoustic guitar tone ever is what he was doing there. I would take that guitar, and that's the one I would pick. I was thinking about Jimmy or whatever. Strat is a Strat. Tele is a Tele. They could be easily replicated, in my opinion, but it's hard to replicate the sound that you can get from an acoustic guitar, because they're just way more nimble of an instrument and more unique and more. It's like, let me put it this way: every acoustic guitar is like a fingerprint. They're all different in a way that's kind of tangible and visible. Electric guitars, less so. They're a little more manufacturer. It's just the nature of what the guitar is. You're dealing with electronics. I mean, Ted made the point that in one of his videos or streams a long time ago, where he's like, what did he say? This tone wood doesn't make a difference, because he saw a video of a guy just putting a pickup and then putting two sawhorses and the string across it, and it sounded awesome. Jack Black did it at the beginning of It Might Get Loud, if you've seen that movie. Acoustic guitar is different. You can't replicate it. So that's why I wouldn't want it. But this is also coming from a perspective thing. If I wanted to get like an iconic guitar to display, yeah, I'd probably get one of Jimi Hendrix's, whatever he played at Woodstock or whatever he did at whatever concert. I would get one of those. But I want to get a guitar like that to play, and I want to play Neil Young's acoustic, whatever Martin that was. So obviously I'm a Martin fanboy, you could tell, but no, that's my pick. I mean,
I get it. You want to sit by a campfire and strum cowboy chords and annoy everybody at the party to death. I get it. You're an acoustic guitar player.
I play Wonderwall. Hey, look, Jeremy, I really appreciate you playing Wonderwall for me. That was actually really nice. You missed that one, Chris, but it was his live yesterday. And
yeah, I missed a bunch of stuff the other day. I apologize for that.
You had an important reason to.
You
live.
did. Look, I want to get this out here. It's not a requirement that everybody watches every video and attends every live that's out there.
Absolutely not.
At all times. It's not. Don't feel guilty. Don't apologize for missing a premiere or missing a live or any. People have lives. People have kids, jobs. They're doing their own things. It's just impossible. And some people, just have 3 computers and have it all open. I just can't do that. It's tough enough.
I'm live 4.5 times a week now. I am not going to feel even remotely bad if somebody misses a live I'm on.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that Ubie's. That's the reason why you have so many lives at different times, is because you know that people aren't going to be able to go to all of them, or they're going to miss it, and which is a favor, because I feel really bad I can't go to Sean's Friday night lives because I'm really freaking old and I go to bed early. That's what kids do to you, man. They kill you from the inside out. But I can't. He's on a Pacific time. You can confirm that?
I didn't have all this gray before we had Ed. I'm just going to say.
I used to have hair at one point, and then I had a kid. It's just crazy what that does
happens.
to you. Oh, my God. It's just tired all. I woke up this morning, and my knee hurt. I didn't do any physical work yesterday. I was like, why is it hard to walk? Why does my knee hurt? I mean, it went away. It was like, what the hell did I do? It was like, why does that happen? Why do things just start hurting randomly? I don't know. It's just
that's why does your truck fall apart at 150,000 miles randomly?
I know. Oh gosh, it's just they should 500 a million miles before you should see any oil change or anything like that. I don't know. What do I know?
You have to change that stuff?
Yeah, all I change is the wiper, or the headlight fluid. That's it.
There we go.
And then every winter I take out the summer air and I put the winter air in. That's all I do. That's all the required maintenance you need. But it's amazing how many people you could tell that to, the headlight fluid thing, and they'll just completely believe you if you're sincere. It's like,
get to your big controversial topic while we got time.
Does an expensive guitar make you play better? That's the controversial topic. Does it? Will it? Ubie, what do you think?
So the answer is yes, but for various reasons. So number one, for me, the most important answer on an expensive guitar, and as one of the things that we had kind of discussed is that expensive to me may be totally different to you, but an expensive for you guitar, if it gives you confidence in playing, then it's going to make you sound better, because music is as much confidence as it is skill. So if you have a guitar that you put a lot of money into and you're like, I know in my mind this is going to make me play better, then yes, it absolutely will make you sound better. Even if it doesn't actually make you sound better, if you play exactly the same as you did before, but in your head it sounds better to you, then it's a better playing. And second is, how well does the instrument you're playing work with you versus fight you? So if you buy a cheap guitar, poorly set up, crappy nut, unlevel frets that are that wear super easily, with pickups that pick up every RF that's out there, you have to fight harder to make that guitar sound better. Whereas if the more expensive, and this is an if, but if the more expensive guitar has all of these components that are of a slightly or high or much better quality, then you will be fighting the guitar less and the guitar will be working with you more in order for you to play. Now, is it going to make you leaps and bounds better? That's a big question, but it will make you better. So the answer to that question is yes, it will, but not necessarily as much as most people may think that it is.
Going back to the Dream guitars, yeah, if you were to buy yourself a Satriani chrome guitar and expect to play like that out of the box, you're going to be sorely disappointed. However, and it doesn't necessarily need to be an expensive guitar. I would say conversely, not even necessarily a cheap guitar will either make you not want to play or make you play worse. A cheap guitar that's set up poorly or has some inherent problems with it, such as it's impossible to intonate. So, I mean, if you're just playing cowboy chords, fine. If you're looking to be up the neck and it just will not intonate, you're not going to have a good experience. It's going to sour your experience on playing. Same thing. I am sorry for that. Same thing with an acoustic guitar. If you get a crappy acoustic guitar that you have no means to adjust the action on, and it just hurts to play, your playing's going to suffer because, number one, you're not going to practice as much because it's not fun. So yeah, I do think that a well set up guitar will definitely improve your chances of playing better because you're going to want to play more. Going back to the confidence thing, speaking from a brass player's world, playing a brass instrument or any woodwind is all about confidence and hitting that note properly. When you have that confidence, you're not going to frack is a brass player's thing where you get that awful noise. I'm going to mute my mic just a second here.
That's cool. I mean, look, words could be tricky, right? When I say, does it make you play better? There's another one, does it make you sound better? So those are two totally different questions, and maybe two different answers. I mean, it's easier to sound better is a thing, as opposed to playing better. What you were just mentioning there, high action. Look, here's the puppy. Hey, puppy. Higher action or whatever, an acoustic guitar that doesn't want you to that you have to fight. I think Ubie said it. It's not going to let you. You're going to play better with a guitar that's better set up. That I think is a fact. You know, if your action isn't set up now, then you have to question. All right, what does that entail? When I say does an expensive guitar make you play better? Why is it expensive is the next question. Is it because the setup? One would argue that's why guitars that are more expensive, that's why they are more expensive, because the setup is better. You could take a cheap guitar and set it up awesome and it just plays nicely. Yeah, you're going to be playing better, I think. And I think I made the kind of comparison, like I have a cheap Strat, my number one Strat. It's probably a $75 guitar, but I invested a lot of money and it's set up awesome and I could play better on it. But does that make it a cheap guitar that's now expensive? Am I playing better because of that? I would argue, yeah, because I got a proper setup on it. I got the new frets and the neck adjusted, the intonation, all the whole new nut. Did I say that already? The whole 9 yards on it. Now that guitar is, and new pickups, now the guitar is kind of, mid-rangey to expensive. So, and I feel like I play better because of it. So yeah, it goes down to the setup. You could take a cheap guitar or cheaper or a budget guitar, I think, and sound awesome. It depends on the setup for the most part.
Well, but also the more expensive guitars may allow you to set them up easier, or may allow you
Mm-hmm.
to dial in the setup better. So yes, it's literally all in the setup as to
Yeah.
how well you can play a guitar. But the question is, is that $2,000 piece of wood that's sitting in your lap easier to set up than the $200 piece of wood that can be sitting in your lap? And how
Right.
minute can you get that setup down in there? Can you get that action another half millimeter lower? Can you get that intonation at 2 or 3 cents better? Those
Right.
sort of things matter more than anything else, and that's theoretically where the higher dollar guitar should be better for you.
Right. Like, I'm going to read this comment and then we could start wrapping it up. This is from Jeremy. He says, "Isn't a better sound the point of playing better? I guess I'm confused. If you play two instruments and one sounds better when you play it, aren't you playing better on that instrument?" That's a great comment and a great distinction there. And I'm just going to say it this way. With acoustic guitars, and Ubie said it before. I'm mentioning this because I think a lot of people run into more issues with acoustics, and electrics are easier, I think, to kind of tweak, because you could tweak the saddle, you could tweak the height and the action a lot easier than on an acoustic guitar. It boils down to, you do not want to be fighting the guitar. I would watch videos on YouTube and try to figure things out on how these people are playing. It's like, why can't I do this on my guitar? I'm up here. Why can't I do it? I pick up my electric guitar, I could do it just fine there. I pick up a I pick up a nice acoustic guitar. I'm like, this is why I can't do it, because the freaking guitar was fighting me the whole time, and I can't get all the notes. So in a way, it did make me play better by having that, and by playing better, it sounds better kind of by default. I'm not trying to say that you're going to have an expensive guitar and automatically sound, like you said, Chris, you're not going to pick up a Satriani guitar or the number one from Stevie and sound like Stevie. You're still going to sound like yourself. It's just, it's going to be easier to play, I think, more physically, from a physical standpoint. And therefore, hey, like what you said, Ubi, rolls into the mental thing. If you feel like having it, now he's running in circles. If you feel like having it, if you feel like you're playing better mentally, even if you're not, maybe that does help. I don't know. It was a loaded question, very loaded, but that's the point of this whole thing, to kind of get people talking here. So I think these are great responses that we have here from everybody here in the community. And look, I'm not disparaging anybody. I think Chris has to leave here, so we'll wrap it up. I love budget guitars as well. The T's that I got up here, the SBHE, pound for pound, just as good as my made in Mexico Fender, the setup. I actually feel like that neck that they have on an SBHE is I wish that was on my Fender guitar. It's freaking phenomenal. I love it. So, and I don't know, is that budget? I don't know. How much are those things now? $400-500? The SBHEs?
The T's,
yeah.
I think they're just over 300.
Damn, that's a hell of a deal. So with that said, I do want to wrap it up here. I know Chris has some obligations with some family stuff here. I do appreciate
not immediately just yet. Kid just left to go get a haircut. He's got to go back to the military, so got to get that taken
high
care
and
of.
tight. That's what they call it. High and tight. When I grew up an Army brat, and I would have military. You go into what's called a PX, it's a post exchange, for those of you not familiar with the military, and they'd have, it's like a little mall inside of it, and the barber shop's there, and you see all the troops getting haircuts, and that's where you get your haircut when I had hair. And you tell them, all right, I want it this way and this way and this way, I want it this style, spiked, blah, 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 because this is in the 90s. And they're like, okay, we could do that. They just shave everything off and give you a high and tight anyway, because you're on a military base. It's like, it's like, what the hell? Mom, take me to the mall, the actual mall. I don't want to go to this military barbershop anymore. You're making me high and tight. But that's the joy of that stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap up. So what do we have coming up? It's 2026. This is the first podcast. I know, Ubi, you had your first stream. Let's start with you, Ubi, and then we'll move on to Chris. What do you have coming up?
Standard stuff, Monday, 8 p.m., Tuesday, 7 p.m., Tech Talk, Wednesday and Friday, 10 a.m., entertainment streams, and basically the what you come to expect from the stream as we continue to evolve it. I don't have anything special lined up for the first couple of weeks, so I do have the monthly backing track I'm already working on for January's backing track. But other than that, just I'm live all the time, so there's not a lot of time to do other stuff.
All right, so expect some marble madness from the malevolent mage of marbles, which I think that's so popular. Aren't you going to have an all marble stream at some point?
Yeah, we will be doing one of those at some point soon.
Cool. So let's check that out, and then I think you were going to do another song in a hat type of deal for this year as well. So let's all be able to look out.
I don't know when, but we will be definitely doing another one of those. Cool. Maybe early in the year, and maybe we'll try to get 2 of them this year.
Spring and the fall, that'd be cool. All right, what about you, Chris? What's going on, man? What you got coming up?
Well, now that we're done with the rapid fire of Thanksgiving and Christmas being so close together, followed by my son's visit getting back to normal, hopefully trying to just get ahead of a few things, hoping to find some time to actually practice. Brian kind of inspired me with his signing up for the lessons and everything to actually start using some of the lessons that I already pay for and haven't been using. But yeah, I think the next project is going to be the LP Junior to try and put that pickup in and set everything up, all the hardware I bought for it, and then just trying to keep going. Hopefully, get into writing some more songs, but that's just like you said, the time, the finishing stuff. It's easy to start, hard to finish.
Yeah. We could talk to, TR just mentioned he had a video coming out soon. If you want to talk about writing songs and stuff, that's the guy to talk to because he writes and finishes 18 songs a day. So, look, the thing is with that is you just gotta close the loop. You know, you come up with a good idea. You just take, whether it's 5 minutes or 30 minutes, just finish it, put it on record, and then just call it and move on to the next. Otherwise, you'll be stuck on things. That's the way I look at it. And then if it comes out bad, it comes out bad. The spaghetti on the wall, you throw enough spaghetti, eventually something will stick. And you don't have to release everything that you put out. If you release 10 songs and one good one comes out of that, maybe that's all you needed. Maybe that's what you needed to get that one good one, was to make 9 stinkers. And then that's just how it rolls sometimes. But yeah, we'll be looking forward to that, man. I really do want to check out that Les Paul Jr. When that comes out. So I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. For me, I just have a video tomorrow, and that's it. Just
sorry, Ted. The rabbit has a mind of his own.
I
could try and pick him up, but that would just end. You'd see me with a bunch of rabbit scratches on me. He's not a holding rabbit. He was here earlier, and I think he's sulking because we took away the Christmas tree. His buffet is gone.
Oh no, that's too sad. Yeah, I have to, my dog is so freaking needy. If I think he wants to leave, and if I stop touching him, he'll just come here. You see him? Now he's over here. I gotta pet him, otherwise he'll start barking and to try to leave.
What do you got going on?
I don't have anything going on. I just got a video tomorrow, and that's it. So, everybody, I really appreciate everybody joining. I think we acknowledge everybody that's in the chat. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Please drop by Ted's, Ubie's is the next one on live on Monday, and then
Monday night.
Ted. Monday night, Tuesday Ted, Wednesday Brian, and all the goodness from there. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream. You all have a wonderful day. Thank you for